Good morning, everyone. So glad you're with us. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Nadia Rampur. It is now 6 o'clock. Russian troops continue to advance on Ukraine's capital, despite the two nations agreeing to begin talks today. And take a look right now at this footage that's been released by Ukraine's State Emergency Services. Shows a rocket hitting a Kyiv apartment block over the weekend. And you can see right there that impact it had outside and inside as well.
Yeah, tough to see. Meanwhile, Russia's nuclear force is on high alert due to what Vladimir Putin called aggressive statements from the U.S. and its allies. Laura Podesta is outside the UN headquarters in New York now, where the General Assembly will be convening for an emergency session there today. Laura?
Good morning, Eric and Netta. And of course, they are preparing for what could potentially be the worst case scenario of a nuclear war. That is what the UN is going to be trying to deter. The meeting between Ukrainian and Russian officials is happening right now. It is happening on Russia's allies' turf. That would be Belarus.
Ukraine set no preconditions in accepting Russia's offer to hold talks today. Delegates from the two nations plan to meet in Belarus at an undisclosed location along the Ukrainian border. Despite the invitation, Russia showed no sign of ending the offensive. A massive convoy of Russian tanks and armored vehicles approached Kyiv last night. The capital city's mayor, former boxer Vitaly Klitschko, had a message for the invaders.
Go back home. You have nothing to find here.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky agreed to the sit-down but will not attend it. Zelensky said he doesn't expect any breakthroughs will emerge. At the United Nations, diplomats are gathering for a rare emergency session of the General Assembly. They're expected to vote on a resolution calling for peace in Ukraine. Russian leader Vladimir Putin responded to the growing sanctions and condemnation by putting his country's nuclear forces on high alert.
Nothing is off the table with this guy. He's willing to use whatever tools he can to intimidate Ukrainians and the world.
UN Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield says the White House is committed to helping Ukraine, but said the U.S. will not send any combat troops there.
Back here at the United Nations, the General Assembly has conducted just 10 emergency sessions since 1950. So what is happening today really is historic. The last emergency session of the General Assembly was in 1997 involving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Eric and Netta.
All right, Laura Podesta reporting. Thank you so much, Laura. Back here at home, San Diegans is once again joining the growing worldwide protests against the Russian invasion.
Yeah, you can see the turnout right here. Hundreds gathered in Balboa Park over the weekend. They're showing solidarity with the people of Ukraine, including Sasha and Alina, who are from Russia and Ukraine. In fact, Alina's family is hunkered down in Kyiv right now.
We need the help, any help right now, and we appreciate the support of our friends, but we need more.
San Diego joined a long list of cities rallying for Ukraine. You see here hundreds, maybe thousands of rallies took place across the United States and all over the world. Ukrainians and supporters gathering outside the White House in D.C. In Berlin, a massive protest outside the Russian embassy with over 100,000 people all over that city. Large crowds also gathered in Chicago and in Sweden. Meanwhile, another record price for San Diego's gas. This right here, I know it's painful. Oof. The current tally stands at $4.85 for a gallon of regular.
Yeah, this is actually the 11th record set in the past 13 days as it inches closer to that $5 a gallon mark now. It is $1.13 higher than just 1 year ago. FIFA has not banned Russia from the World Cup, but they will require some changes. The Russian national team can still compete, but they must play under the name Russian Football Union. The team also cannot be associated with the Russian flag and anthem, and they cannot play any home games. This comes as multiple nations, including Poland and the Czech Republic, refuse to play against Russia. At the moment, Poland is scheduled to play against Russia on March 24th.
And turning to what we're following here locally, another big story that has a lot of families interested. This morning, we do expect a major update regarding mask requirements for public schools in our state. Governor Gavin Newsom expected to make this announcement. And CBS 8's Chris Groh joining us live now with what we can expect later today. Good morning to you, Chris.
Yeah, good morning, Eric and Netta. Look, a lot of people have been pushing for the removal of masks, and some people have been saying that they need to remain in place because so many young children haven't yet been vaccinated as of yet. But what we do expect to see happening today is a process and a timeline for when we can expect to see those masks disappear. Now, I want to point out two other instances of other states here so that we can kind of have an idea of what we might see. Both Oregon and New York, who have long had these masks in place in schools, have designated days in which those mask mandates will end for students. Oregon chose March 19th and New York March 2nd. But what's interesting about the case in New York is that some local areas will be able to keep those masks in place based on local health and transmission data. So one county could see them go away on March 2nd. Another county may have that still in place. Based on that and conversations with district leaders here locally, we could see something similar spelled out today. Of course, masks in schools are a hot topic amongst parents, teachers, and local leaders. Some stakeholders, including those with the San Diego Unified School District, again, they potentially want to see something similar to what we're seeing in New York, something based on the transmission and the health data. In fact, take a listen to what San Diego Unified Board Trustee Richard Barrera had to say about that in our conversation. Take a listen.
What we think he'll do is give indicators about under certain circumstances when it might be safe to relax the indoor masking requirement.
And so again, what we expect to see today is spelled out a process and a timeline. How do we go from today to that date in which we can see those masks taken off in a school setting? When we do hear more about that from the governor's office, we'll be sure to let you know. So again, stick with CBS 8 throughout today as these developments come forward. Eric and Netta.
All right, Chris, thanks. And happening today, Larry Migliette is due back in court for the murder case of his wife, Maya Migliette. He's due for a status conference this afternoon. Migliette is charged with murdering the mother of his 3 children, who has not been seen for nearly 14 months. Her remains have not been found despite weekly searches by volunteers. He remains in custody with no bail. This morning, the Public Utilities Commission will be holding meetings to address high utility rates in San Diego.
Yeah, we're talking about the CPUC. They will hear from experts now on concerns over making the energy system more modern while still having affordable prices for customers. Although the organization is asking not to reduce SDG&E's profits. No resolutions will be voted on, but SDG&E customers can call in. You can also email any of your thoughts, and don't forget, text the word AMPED to 858-571-8888, and you'll see all of our recent amped up coverage, and you can give your feedback directly to SDG&E.
Taking a look outside here on this Monday morning, we've got some changes in store to let everyone know about, and those winds are going to be whipping up here.
That's right. Santa Ana is back in the forecast really today through Wednesday, and like Eric mentioned, the transition that we see really comes about Wednesday to Thursday. So the first half of the week, calm, dry, and when I say calm, I mean more in terms of conditions out there. We're not seeing any wet weather come through. Second half of the week, cooler temperatures come in, and we start to see that chance of precipitation amp up quite a bit. So let's start with our Monday, of course, as we start off the week. It's 6:08 right now. Temperatures are largely in the 40s as we speak. We're at 47 degrees in downtown San Diego, moving up towards 76 along the coastline by the afternoon. Low 80s inland, so it's going to be nice and warm out there. Keep in mind, average is nearly 10 degrees cooler, so it's going to be a warm day with that ridge of high pressure overhead, but the ridge does not last for too long. Trough is going to start to sink in, and as this troughing pattern moves towards Southern California, we're going to start to see some much cooler tones from about Wednesday into Thursday and beyond. So we move away from this yellow that we see associated with that ridge, meaning above average temperatures, and we'll move toward below average temperatures for about Thursday, Friday, and your weekend. This low is also going to bring up our chance for precipitation. It'll be our first opportunity for it in the month of March as we now end the month of February well below normal on our rain totals. Rain so far this month, 7/10 of an inch, whereas average would have been well over 2 inches. About 2.2 would have been our average. That makes us well below average for our water year. Hey, at least we're going to be warming up for our afternoon high temperatures, enjoying another sunny day outside, feeling more like spring as opposed to the winter season that we still have on hand. As you walk out the door, temperatures are mostly in the 40s and 50s. You got a couple pockets of 30s out there. Ramona is very cold at 33, 38 in Escondido, and 49 in Oceanside. Let's get a check of traffic this morning. 2 crashes that we had downtown have now been cleared. However, we're going to start to see that volume increase across the 805 and the 5 northbound lanes. So right now, looking good to go as you head out the door. But again, only a matter of about a half hour or so where we will likely start to see that volume increase. Gopher Canyon Road, still a crash there on the 15. That's exit 41 right off of the 15.